All right, I want to thank you again for being here today. We're excited to hear from the public on your thoughts about your community. There was one sign-up sheet. It's right here for speaking at this event. After the event, there will be several other sign-up sheets for you if you want some additional information. Again, this is a listening tour for the community and the body to hear from you about what's important to you about your area that we should consider as we move through this process. I'd like to take a minute to introduce a few of our members. I'm Representative Chris Croft. I'm the chair of the House Redistricting Committee. To my right is my vice chair, Representative Brad Ralph, and to his right is the ranking member, Representative Tom Harris. And to my left is the chairman of the Senate Redistricting Committee, as well as he's also the Senate Vice President, Rick Wilburn. So,
thank you, Mr. Chairman, and also on our leadership group is I am the President of the Senate, is the Vice Chair of the Redistricting. Don Sykes is the ranking member of the Senate Redistricting.
Okay, just real quick, were you able to hear through his mic? Just want to make sure all the mics are working. And then one last thing I'd like to do is I'd like to acknowledge the House Minority Leader, Representative Tom Sawyer. All right, most importantly, we'd like to acknowledge you in the audience and thank you for being here today. With that, I'd like to turn over to Senator Sykes to make a welcoming comment. Sykes.
Good morning, Colby. Thank you for having us. I want to say thank you to Colby Community College and to all of you for engaging with us this morning. We want to help develop districts that are going to lead to healthier connections to the residents and stronger representation and better public policy for all Kansans. So thank you. I hope this is not the last time we hear from you. Dialogue and making sure that we know what those communities of interest in drawing fair and legal maps is vital to this process. So thank you for engaging. My staff has handouts of how you can connect with us because, like I said, this is a dialogue. I hope this is not the last time we hear from you. And again, thank you, Colby Community College, for hosting us. And it's good to be Colby this morning. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And again, just to thank you all and also thank the committee members that are here as well as the committee members and others that are online listening in. This is a listening tour for us to hear from you about your communities. And as was just mentioned, this is just one step in the overall redistricting process. Our goal at the end of this is that we have had an exceptional transparency and public access. That's our goal, and we're going to work towards that very diligently. What you have to say is very, very important to us all. We've asked that state officials, elected officials, provide their comments at a later time so we can focus on what the public has to say. And we are looking forward to becoming more familiar with your communities and hearing what you have to say on things to consider as we are drawing boundary lines and how to improve the process for the benefit of all involved. Again, like I said, there was a sign-up sheet. If there's anybody else that wants to sign up, please let me know. If there's a speaker who's more comfortable speaking another language and it would ensure the speaker's thoughts are more accurately portrayed, we encourage the speaker to use that language. We will have the comments transcribed and translated following today's meeting and provided to the committee members, the legislative body, and the public. We are using closed captioning here in the room and online. And this time around, we recognize that redistricting is a little bit more difficult with the delay in the U.S. Census data. But by conducting these listening tours right now, it's enabling us to hear from you and for the public to provide us things about your community that you want us to know that's unique. And maybe talk about how things have changed over the last 10 years that we need to take into consideration. And what are the things about your community that you think, as we're sitting down drawing, that would be important to us? We welcome your comments on ways to improve the process as well as we're going through it. And again, it's a very long process that's been going on for a while. And what I want to do is actually have Jordan from Kansas Legislative Research Department to cover that whole process so you have a bigger picture of what's going on. So with that, Jordan, if you'll go ahead and do your presentation.
Can you all hear me on the audio? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, my name is Jordan Mohall. I'm with the Kansas Legislative Research Department. I'm a senior analyst over there, cultivator on this morning I'm going to be covering some of the basics of the census and the redistricting process for you all. Sure. Is that a little bit better? Okay. That must have been my problem just a second ago. Apologize. So some part of the census is constantly happening. Redistricting is part of this cycle. Federal law requires the states have the opportunity to participate in the census preparation, and states are required to participate in order to get certain data. The redistricting data program provides states the opportunity to specify small geographic areas and to receive population totals for the purpose of redistricting. Participating in this process, as we have since 2015 with this cycle, it allows us to get population data for smaller areas of geography than we normally would. States participate through a nonpartisan entity, and in Kansas, that's through the Kansas Legislative Research Department. The program is broken into 5 phases. So phase 1 is the block boundary suggestion project. Phase 2 is the voting district project. Phase 3 is delivery of census data. So right now we are right at the cusp of that data being delivered to us. We expect that to be on August 12th for the legacy files. Those files take a little bit more manipulation to get to the data within them. And then by September 30th, we expect to have the more user-friendly set of files. Both sets should have the same information. And then phase 4 is confirmation of the boundaries. So this phase would occur after the redistricting process is complete. And then phase 5 is feedback from the census. Earlier this year, we received the total state population number from the census, from Census Day 2020. That number was used to determine whether Kansas would gain or lose a congressional seat, and we did not gain or lose a seat this time around. The total population that we were given was 2,937,880, and that was good for a gain of over 84,000 individuals. Next, I'd like to briefly discuss the adjustment that was previously required. From 1988 through 2019, the Kansas Constitution and statute required the Secretary of State to take that state total population and then further adjust it for students in military. In 2019, the House and Senate passed a concurrent resolution to remove that requirement, asking the public if that could be removed. That was on the 2019 November ballot, and voters approved removing that adjustment requirement. So there's no longer a requirement to adjust for students in military in Kansas. Next, I'd like to highlight the redistricting process. So this starts off as a mainly a legislative process. So these these maps are drawn, they're turned into bills and then subject to the same process as other pieces of legislation. It goes through the legislative committees, subject to hearing and testimony, possible amendments. And then after a bill makes it through both sides of the legislature, it goes to the governor, just like any other bill. The governor then either signs, vetoes, or allows the bill to become law without signature. And then the judicial component comes in. The Kansas Supreme Court is required to review and approve the state maps. And here's just a little bit more information about the process of these bills. So after passage, the bill is published in the Kansas Register. Then the Attorney General has a certain timeline to file with the Supreme Court for their review of validity. And then if the maps are determined valid, the process is complete. The next slide has a little bit of information about what happens if it's determined to be invalid. There are some different timelines in here, and basically the process would repeat until the Supreme Court determines the maps are valid. This slide lists some resources that the Kansas Legislative Research Department provides. Right now, we still have the information up from 2012. So if you're interested, you can head to our website and look at some of the information that we generate. For each map that is subject to technical review, there are a number of reports that are generated based on those maps. You can see below the map in the picture on the screen, there's quite a listing of different reports that are available. And as I noted, similar reports are run for each plan that's subject to technical review. Finally, here's a listing of some contact information for our office. So we have an office in the State House. Our phone number is listed there. And if you visit kslegislature.org/KLRD, you can reach our website. If you have any questions, feel free to email redistricting@klrd.ks.gov. And I've also included our staff emails as well for our redistricting team. And finally, I just wanted to let you know, this presentation is available on the website, the legislature website, for these two committee hearings this morning. So if you're interested in any of the information I provided, you should be able to access it with the information that's posted online. Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation.
Okay, Jordan, thank you very much. It's time now that we're going to start receiving public comments. Again, on your communities, things that we should consider when we're drawing the district boundaries and ways to improve the process and other things that you want to comment on. Some of you who are previously signed up and sent in lengthy comments or any comments, as of yesterday, those documents have been posted online in the legislative website, and they've been put in the inboxes for all the committee members to review. If anyone wants to provide any public comment later on, again, as was just mentioned, please send your comments to redistricting at klrd.ks.gov, or you can go to the website and at ks.gov. Again, same thing was up there previously. There is no cutoff date for any public comment. So if an idea comes up or thought comes up and things you want to provide, then send it. We'll read it. The legislative website does provide instructions, though, for providing your comments, and we do ask that you follow those instructions. We're going to provide 5 minutes for people to talk going through the process. The vice chair, Representative Ralph, will maintain a timer and will indicate with a card your time remaining. The vice chair will start with 2 minutes remaining and then 1 minute and 30 seconds, just to kind of give you an idea so you can wrap up your comments. And then at the end, he'll hold up one that says, okay, time's expired. We just ask that you honor that card. Again, a brief reminder, we have received several comments on the process, and we appreciate all those comments. And again, we want to welcome them, but we would like to hear from you about your community, how things have changed, what unique things you want us to take into consideration as we're moving through this process. So right now we have two speakers. We have our first speaker is going to be Paul Steele. Paul Steele here. Paul, if you'll please go to the microphone app. Oh, microphone's over here on your right, sir. On my right. Your left. Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, testing. Okay. My name is Paul Steele. I'm a retired certified public accountant. I spent 12 years as a county commissioner of Thomas County and am retired now. And I really want to applaud the people come out here to see us on districting. We are ably represented by Representative Hicks, Representative Smith, by Senator Billinger. They're very good lawmakers, and I feel that it might be simpler for redistricting us as opposed to you folks back east, because our main source of livelihood is agricultural. We're all tied together in raising grain for cattle and feeding cattle and raising calves, and we're all tied together with highways. And believe that the three people that ably represent us in Topeka understand that. And so I kind of enjoy the fact that Thomas County actually has two members of the House. It gives me two different places to send political contributions. I know all three of these gentlemen. They work hard at what they do. Good conservative folk, and we are well represented. And what I would simply suggest is that we're all in this great agricultural enterprise in western Kansas, we're all tied together with highways. That is what keeps us together, because it's an industry that's spread out throughout western Kansas, and highways are necessary. And so if you can find the money to make the superhighway out of 83, great. If you can't, give us some more passing lanes. But the most important thing is that we need you folks fair and equitable around the state, and let's avoid the recriminations if possible. I really appreciate the wonderful efforts that you undertake, and I hope this time around what you legislate is what we will get. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next speaker will be Rodney Radcliffe. Welcome, sir.
I too am a former county commissioner in Cheyenne County this morning. So I'd like to say, go big first. I see a lot of information disseminated to our community. I think one of the ways that maybe you could get more information out is through our local community papers, these small communities out here in Western. That's one way to get more information out. I think we vitally need potential need to history in the state. My county, I brought up the subject of redistricting. Was not understood in my commissioners. So I was unsuccessful getting anything accomplished. But I'm going to keep trying, because I am aware of the statute that says everything that's included in the statute should be pursued. I'm retired military, great-grandfather, got 12 great-grandsons, 3 great-granddaughters. I got a little wisdom about what we need to stay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, sir. That completes the list of those that have signed up, but I want to open it up. If there's others in the audience that would like to say a few words about the community. Anything you want us to consider as we're going through that process, something unique. I'm having a hard time seeing the audience. Is there anybody? Are you seeing anybody? Okay. All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll okay. All right.
Thank you very much. And first off, I want to welcome you all to Western Kansas. Most of you know me. I'm 10 minutes, I represent, I realize I'll have opportunity to give you input. Partially from the community members. 118th district, 20 different, have 18 superintendents, 90 miles to get here. About halfway across. Increase. And feel very confident in this process. District, we were outlined 10 years ago by the judge. I appreciate you coming to West forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, that will conclude the public comment. I don't believe so far we've received any written comment, but again, if you do have comments following this, you have an idea, please do not hesitate to go ahead and send it to the website that was mentioned earlier. We want to thank you all for your input and some of the specifics that you did provide. That's kind of the stuff we're looking for. It is our goal to achieve exceptional transparency and public access. This was our fourth stop in our 14-stop listening tour. And again, this is not going to be the last. This was just the beginning for us for the public input. We are working through what we will do officially after our tour and before the next session in January 22. When we return to session there, as you heard mentioned by Jordan from research, that there will be hearings and more opportunities to provide testimony. So again, this is just the first. We wanted to get out now, though, and hear what your comments were about how things have changed and special characteristics and considerations. And again, like I said, if you think of something else, please send it in to redistricting at klrd.ks.gov so we can have that as we're moving through the process. Thank you to the Colby Community College for the facilities, and thank you to the audience and committee members again for participating in this process. Our next location is Garden City, and it begins at, we are adjourned.
Check, check, 1, 2, mic test.